Hello, my name is Matthew.
Hi, I'm Alexandra.
And hello, my name is Melissa.
And we're with the Tampa Hillsborough County Public Library. We'd like to welcome you to Parent Connect. Just a little bit about what we're going to be doing tonight. This is for preschool and elementary. Tomorrow night, we'll be doing another one for middle school and high school. Today is Tuesday, January 19th of 2021. I can't believe we're already at 2021. It seems like time has gone by so quickly. But tonight, we're going to be doing just a very brief demonstration of a resource we think will be useful for parents of preschool and elementary schoolers. And then we're going to open up the room, which you do very often. And if you'd like to appear on camera with us or on audio, you can do that or communicate with us and let us know anything that you'd like to share or chat about. And we'll be very happy to do that. But now, without further delay, I'm going to bring it on over to Alexandra, who's going to talk about our book shout out. Hey, Alexandra.
Hello. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight we pulled from, we have this great pairings list, but tonight's shout out is The New Childhood, Raising Children to Thrive in a Connected World. This has groundbreaking research in a range of fields, reveals the considerable potential of new technologies, and this book shares practical recommendations for parents and educating children in today's increasingly connected world. To find the full parents resource book list, you can actually see the link in our chat session after we finish the presentation. Now to you, Melissa.
Thanks so much, Alexandra. All right, guys, so our book is about technology, and the demonstration I'll make for just a few minutes is going to be about technology also. It's a great resource called World Book. It has a lot of different features, so I did want to ask you guys if you can vote in the poll. What are the ages of your little ones? And maybe you have more than one, so feel free to select all that apply so that I can tailor what I show you a little bit more to the age of your little one. So if you want to go ahead and vote, feel free. All right, very nice. So it seems like we have kind of a range of ages right now. So I'll go ahead and show you guys something that will be the most useful for the widest range. And I'm going to take my camera off so that you guys can see a little bit better. World Book is an amazing resource that is good for all ages, really. And when you find it, obviously from our webpage, hcplc.org, World Book, you'll see that there's an early learning section, and that's for kids that are like up to 4 years old. There's a kids section that's from ages 4 to 10, student advanced activity corner ebook. So this will take your child all the way from the start of their use of technology all the way to when they're ready to graduate high school, believe it or not. And I hope you guys have used it. If you have used it, go ahead and type yes in the questions section if you'd like. So just to show you a little bit about this, there are pictures and videos, world of animals, activities, some of which are printable as well, games, important people. And what I really want to show with you guys is this little section called Educator Tools. It doesn't have a cute little icon or anything like that, so a lot of people don't know that it actually exists. But here you can see, and I'm not going to click through on this just because my internet's a little bit slow, but you can actually see the curriculum correlations and see what part of World Books and what activities there are for your kids. So let's say that in science, you want to check and see what they have available for grades 3 and see what in the curriculum they need to learn and the corresponding activities. So you would go click through, click submit, and it would show you on a page all of the great things that your child can do, whether it's watch a video, read an encyclopedia article, complete a puzzle depending on their age. There are also lesson plans, and there are web quests. And these are print and do activities that are incredibly fun for you guys. All sorts of things, study skills, media technology, science, dinosaurs. There's also a really wonderful one for the holiday of Dia de los Muertos that I like a lot. So just so you guys know, it's not just for kids. It's also something that you guys can look at and empower yourselves to help your kids and learn a little bit more. By the way, I highly recommend the science projects that are a lot of fun. So many easy to do activities that you can sort by subject or by what your child is most interested in. So that is the resource that I have to share with you guys. If you have any questions about that, we're more than happy to answer them. I encourage you to get lost in World Book Kids, see all the stuff that there is to see there.
So I'm going to go ahead and share one thing that I have found particularly useful. I have a third grader and a sixth grader, and one thing about our family is that we're a little fiction dependent. We love reading, novels and stories and things like that, and watching movies and other kinds of content. But so my kids, both of them, every now and then I try to do my due diligence and help them read through some nonfiction so that they can work on comprehension and retention, the things that are really important in language arts as they go through school. So there's one series in particular, if you're having a challenging time, that I think is actually good for elementary schoolers of all ages, because even if their reading is not yet strong, the books are organized in such a way that it's very easy to read to them and ask them questions, do interactive reading with them. And that is the Who Was series. Now you may recognize that name because there's a connected TV program that draws on some of the same historical figures on Netflix. So if any of you have a Netflix subscription, that's one of the shows that's on there. I think there's like 13 episodes, and it's very funny and really and very informative. And so that's the Who Was show. But there's a whole series of books that preceded that called Who Was, and you can find them in our library. I'm actually going to post a link to one of them in the chat that I particularly liked reading to my kids, and that was Who Was Walt Disney. We obviously live here in Florida, and Walt Disney World is just a hop and a skip away. And so it was very interesting to read about somebody who did not come from, a great deal of wealth and really built up something that is just so ubiquitous today for all of us. So that's a good one to start with. And I will also say about the Who Was books is not only do you learn about the one person that they're talking about, they will oftentimes include sort of extra pages about related figures. So for example, there's a few Who Was books about first ladies who have served, with various presidents of the United States. And in those, they will not only talk about that first lady, but they'll also talk about additional first ladies. And so you kind of get to learn, a broader scope of history. And like I said, each section's like a little bit short and very easy to kind of navigate through. And so that's something I wanted to share. Who Was? It's a great series to check out. And the link I posted, you'll see we have it in multiple formats. You can get it as a print book. You can get it oftentimes as an ebook. And in the case of Walt Disney, you can get it as an e-audiobook. That means you can just stream it from your computer or your mobile device by checking it out through our online library. So that's my share. Before we move on to, I think we have at least a couple of more resources that we can talk about. I'm going to stop talking for a moment and see, does anybody have any questions, anything they would like to discuss, some of the questions that Alexandra posed, or anything you'd like to type into the question section or the chat. And you may also if you're having difficulty, you may also raise your hand, and we can check to see if there's anybody who needs to be kind of called on. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're not attendees anymore. You're in with us as panelists. So no, you can't raise your hand anymore.
That is true, but you guys feel free to interrupt us and let us know what's going on.
I saw Laura, I'm sorry to say your name, but Laura flipped on your microphone. So hi.
Hey guys, good evening. Thank you for having these sessions. I actually wanted to share a resource that's helped, and then kind of ask a question to see if you guys have a resource that you can recommend. So similar to Matthew, I actually have a 5-year-old. She is a late little one, so she would be going to kindergarten in August, and unfortunately because of COVID, she missed VPK. So we're doing like VPK at home type thing. So, we've been able to do a lot of activities. The Who Was piece, we actually used the ebooks one. I guess it's the read along one that has like for kindergarten, first grade, second grade, etc. And yesterday we were able to use the one for Martin Luther King, and it was really good because she was able to kind of wrap her head around, you know, why do we have a day off and why are we celebrating what we're celebrating? So that was great. And definitely, you know, not necessarily book-wise, but the partnership that you guys are having with Zoo Tampa on the classes, that's actually great. If you're a working parent like myself, it buys you at least 30 minutes of being able to focus on work while they're actually learning something. Now, on to my question. I am struggling with phonics. English is my second language technically, so for me to teach phonics has been a little bit challenging. I'm not sure if there are any books or, you know, ebooks like read-alongs that you guys could recommend that would help that process.
I would like to say something, actually maybe two things. So one thing, and maybe Matthew can throw the link in the chat, not to put him on the spotlight, but we do have a reading list. We have a whole page for 1,000 books before kindergarten, which is a challenge geared toward early literacy. And we have a lot of resources in the book lists on that page, including phonics as well, different books, different series for phonics. So when you go through these book lists, it will give you some suggestions that we came up with, books and kits that we can check out from the library. In some cases, and Matthew has put this into the chat, if you guys who have younger kids want to take a look, you'll find some good phonics series. There is one for Curious George, believe it or not, on Hoopla that is all about phonics. That's one thing that you can do if you want to get some books and some more traditional resources. And another thing, and by the way, let me just say, I'm so glad that you've been to the Zoo Tampa partnership. We are loving it too. And it's just such a fun time, right? So you guys, like, definitely feel free to take a look if you haven't seen it yet. And not to beat a dead horse, sorry horses, I would like to specify that World Book, from the home page, you can click through early learning, and they have a new section on early learning. By the way, this is device agnostic, so it should look really tight on a tablet, cell phone, laptop, or desktop. You have it. They have the early learning basics section, which will actually have the simplest graded readings that you can find by Lexile level. They also have tracings for letters, and you can just do a lot of count and play activities like that. And their menu, you can turn the annoying audio off, but it's specifically so that little kids can kind of navigate it on their own and start to use one of the first valuable apps. So Once Upon a Time, check out Welcome to Reading, Once Upon a Time, Fun with Words, and Count with Play is great for colors and for simple math and color recognition and numbers, believe it or not. So I hope that's a little bit of new things for you to check out. Do you have any questions about that or comments?
No, that's very helpful. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I'll just add a quick postscript on that. Melissa name-checked one of the series, Curious George, that's available on Hoopla. And we always like to point out to everybody that when you look for things on Hoopla, even though there is a limit to the number of things you can check out each month, you get it right away. There's no wait, no matter who else is accessing it at the time. It is automatically available to you. So if there's something that looks good, you can just go ahead and grab it right away.
12 things. So use those 12 every month. I do. I count down until the end of the month, and I use all 12 every month.
All right.
Oh, and like other people are saying that was useful, and we're so glad.
That's right. Does anybody else have any other questions or things they'd like to share? We could skip to the next resource because we brought a couple of extra things to talk about just in case there was time left over. And then we could jump back and check with anybody else if they'd like to ask anything additionally or share.
One thing that I'd like to mention also, you guys, in terms of the nonfiction that Matthew was talking about, Definitely, like Laura said, with Zoo Tampa, we have a partnership where on some Mondays we will have some books that we read and some information about animals so that the child starts to associate reading with information and fun at the same time. I would also like to say that for some of our story times that we have at 9:30, like bilingual story time Tuesdays at 9:30, we will have a mixture of fiction and nonfiction books. So you'll also be able to get other series that are more appropriate for the youngest of us, you know, like up to about age 5. So they start to get that nonfiction early on. And I do have some other resources for nonfiction too, if you guys would like to check that out.
And I'll ask actually one more quick question before we move on. Alexandra is one of our branch libraries. Alexandra, I know we have some phonics books and the like at most of our locations. Do we also have like board books for kids who are just getting started?
We do have the board books, as well as I've got to say, I was someone that struggled learning phonics. So, you know, the books can be helpful, but we do also have our Launchpad Playaway tablets that have some games to teach phonics that I like to recommend those as well, because if a child's struggling like I did, playing with the interactive educational game might be just another approach to kind of keep their interest and keep the repetition up without it seeming you know, without it seeming like you're just doing drills.
All right, perfect. Thank you for sharing that, Alexandra. Well, Melissa, why don't we go ahead and move on, and then if anybody attending wants to jump in when we get to our contact information and discuss anything additionally, we're here for you.
Great. So thanks, guys. We have kind of all ages here, so I do want to just throw some resources at you. Please don't feel overwhelmed or like you need to check all of these out. But you know, you will see the World Book logo on the screen again. And I would like to just emphasize again a little bit about World Book, maybe a different section of World Book called World Book
Dinosaurs.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it. World Book activities. And these are activities that kids can do, and you can sort by holiday, you can sort by age. They're printable activities, and you can also look for time to complete. And they have a featured activity. This also goes with the curriculum correlation. I think most kids like to do things with their hands and be kinetic learners, at least from time to time. That definitely helps them learn. And just to show you guys, you know, please do, of course, keep visiting the library. You'll get a small packet of crafts every now and then. I got this one from the wonderful Seminole Heights Library. It's going to be Year of the Bull, and I believe I could make a bull if I opened this one. So just to show you guys, we have activities online, and we also have, you know, some activities that you will want to check out with your library card when you pick up your books. And let's see what else. There's also a dramatic corner where you could find monologues and plays for the littlest kids up through high school. So check out every single corner of World Book. They have fantastic tutorials as well available for parents, very pain-free, but it's very intuitive. If you guys are starting to deal with kids who are doing their first little book reports, I would suggest Gale in Context Elementary. It makes search easy, enjoyable. There's a really good citation tool. And of course, you want to get kids used to using their first encyclopedia and things like that. And it's going to look a little bit different than some of us when we were growing up because it might not be print. So check out the Gale resources. We have Gale in Context for middle school as well, you guys. So you can grow along with that resource from your library card. If kids are having any problems, we do have the tutor.com service with your library card. You can chat with a tutor, you can drop off a paper. It's wonderful. And then if you want some more read alouds, from our webpage, you guys can access Tumblebook Library. What I love about Tumblebook is that you can, their logo is Let's Get Ready to Tumble, and you can select, I want to tumble for 20 minutes. And that means that there will be a read along of several different kids books for about 20 minutes, or I want to tumble for 10 minutes or 30 minutes. So you guys could actually know how much peace and quiet you're going to have while your child is having a book read on the screen with the words highlighted as they go. And there are a lot of really good Spanish books. There are a lot of good French books as well that you guys can check out using the Tumble Book Library. So I encourage you to check out those Tumble books. Some of the books are books that are more popular abroad. So you wouldn't necessarily expect to find these books in the United States. And that's part of why it's so valuable. You'll find a lot of Canadian books as well, you know, French Canadian books. So that's something a little bit interesting. And I'm going to see if there's any questions right now from you guys about any of these resources. I have maybe 2 more I'd like to share with you guys, or maybe from Alexandra and Matthew. If there's something that I forgot or any questions that you guys have too, feel free to ask me.
No, that's okay. I think we can share the last couple, and then we'll just get ready to wrap up in here in just a couple minutes. So
sounds good. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying. If there's a specific resource that has grabbed your attention, feel free to type it in the question section or in the chat section so we know what's valuable to you guys. Unite, that's uniteforliteracy.org. This is a great website where there will be an encyclopedia of books on all sorts of topics for little kids, ages up to about 4 years old. And these books are not always nonfiction, but they have a lot of really valuable, simple nonfiction books, 5 pages about what the night sky is. There's narration. There's support for other languages for the narration or for the text a lot of the times. And it is very, very easy to navigate. So that's a great resource if you're just starting out having kids learning to read. And every book comes with, at the end, an extension activity that you and your child can do. It's very, very charming. Wonderopolis, I get emails from Wonderopolis, even though I'm an adult. It's the Wonder of the Day, which includes questions that kids ask, like, why is the sky blue, with a very simple, explain it to me like I'm 5 explanation, engaging jokes submitted by kids. It's like the Highlights magazine, which you guys know we have electronic access to, but kind of in a little bit of a dynamic format and geared toward curiosity and exploration. So I hope you guys check out Wonderopolis as well. It's pretty awesome. And I think that is hopefully enough for you guys to feel like you've got something to really sink your claws into, as it were. Again, with the animal metaphors, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Zoo Tampa now. Yeah, so I think that's it. Back to you, Alexandra.
Great. Well, thank you again. There was a lot of information shared. What's important for you to know is if you have questions and have follow-up, reach out to us. Our phone number is 813-273-3652. And then from the web, that's hcplc.org/contact. On that page, you'll see at the bottom, Ask a Librarian. That is a real-time live service where you can type in your questions and we'll have one of our library staff get back to you, be able to share these resources. Also, if you don't already know, please do check out the events, such as that we have our older series of this Parents Connect happening tomorrow night. And on the hcplc.org kids section is where we have a shout out to a lot of our resources that Melissa highlighted, as well as additional book lists and ways to get recommendations of series and popular books.